Hey everybody, my name is Gene Marks. Thank you very much for joining me today. I have some good and quick information that I want to share with you about getting money from the federal government. As we're all struggling with the challenge of getting through this coronavirus pandemic, it is very, very important to see our way through all the issues that we're having right now, and we need cash. Right now, the federal government is providing different ways that we can get some cash and some good options for us as well. And I want to quickly go through them as well so that you can get the money that you hopefully deserve to, for your business. So there are two big ways that you can get money from the federal government. The first is through economic injury disaster loans. You can borrow up to $2 million under these loans. If you're a nonprofit, your interest rate is 2.75%. If you're a for-profit business, your interest rate is 3.75%. The payback for these loans is 30 years. So it is a long-term fixed rate loan that you can get. If you borrowed $50,000, you'd be paying less than $300 a month for it, as long as it's used for the working capital and the operations of your business. Now, some of the good things about this program, it's directly with the SBA. So there's no intermediaries. You go right to the website at sba.gov, you borrow the money from there, and because the program has been around, the infrastructure has been around, the turnaround time for it is actually quite quick. It should be under a week that you'll get your money in your hands. There is a new thing added that's a quick cash advance. So if you apply for a loan, you will get an immediate $10,000 cash advance within 48 hours of applying. If you get accepted for the loan, the money goes on to the principal of the loan. If you don't get accepted for the loan, you get to keep the money. So that 10,000 quick advance is really helpful. And by the way, if you've ever done any financing with the SBA before, so you're already in their system and have a relationship with them, they have what they call express loans. You can call up your SBA banker, $25,000 up to, you can borrow right away. They can get the money into your hands between 24 and 48 hours just because you had a prior relationship with the SBA. So the very first thing that you can consider is Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Go to sba.gov, and that's something that you want to do. Now, number two, which you probably heard about because it's all over the news, is the Paycheck Protection Program. It's under the CARES Act. So let me explain to you what you need to know about that. For starters, this is different than the economic injury loans because instead of dealing directly with the SBA, you must go through a banker. Now, we're told by the Treasury Department that any FDIC banker can give out these loans. However, my recommendation is you should focus on SBA bankers. They have the most experience with these loans. It's a loan program that's already been around called Section 7A, so it's been expanded. So you want to work with somebody that's got experience with these loans, and the SBA bankers have them. How do you find an SBA banker? Well, you can go to the search engine on sba.gov and get a banker match that way, or you can just Google for SBA banker, SBA lender in your area, and that will match you up with the banker. There are two big things you need to know about these paycheck protection loans. The first is the amount that's available to you. You can borrow up to $10 million. The interest rate is 1%. Your payback time is 2 years. However, the amount that you are allowed to borrow is based on your payroll. Not your annual payroll, but your average monthly payroll. You are going to be asked to go back 12 months, figure out what your average monthly payroll is. If you're a seasonal business, you could do it based on the season that you did so that you can figure out what your average monthly payroll is. Your average monthly payroll is going to include certain things: compensation, commissions, tips that were paid. As a business owner, your payroll is included as well. If you didn't take a paycheck because you're a partnership or an LLC or a S corporation, you can still include the pay that was subject to self-employment tax. That gets included as payroll. The one thing is that you can't include anything over $100,000. So if somebody made $120,000 a year, you can include them, but only up to $100,000. You also add to your payroll vacation expense, expense for paid sick time during the year, expense for retirement, group health insurance, state and local taxes, not federal taxes. FICA or Medicare does not get included, but all those other ones get included. You're going to come up with your total payroll number, average monthly amount that you paid last year. You're going to multiply it times 2.5. That's what you're allowed to borrow. So if your average monthly payroll was $100,000 a month, you can borrow $250,000 under this program. So that's the loan portion. The second portion is the good portion. That's the free money portion. That's the portion where you're getting your money back from the government because they will forgive the loan. And the forgiveness works this way. The period of your payroll of this whole program is between February 15th and June 30th. When you sign your loan documents, your 8-week period will begin. During that 8 weeks after it is over, you can submit documentation to your banker for your payroll, for your rent, for your utilities, for your mortgage interest, and your bank will forgive you for those amounts during that 8-week period. By the way, only 25% of the loan can go towards non-payroll stuff. So they'll forgive you for the payroll first, and then up to 25% of the loan for the rent, the utilities, the mortgage interest. But that's a really, really big deal. So now some things to remember. Just like this loan, the Paycheck Protection Loan, and just like the loan, the economic injury loans as well, there's no collateral, there's no personal guarantees, and there are no fees that are involved. So bear that in mind. Back to the Paycheck Protection Loan, you are going to be dealing with a banker, which means that you are going to have a loan agreement with the banker. You're going to have a negotiation with it. They've got guidelines from the federal government, from the SBA and the Treasury Department, but in the end, it's an agreement between you and the banker. So my recommendation is that you read that loan agreement really, really carefully and make sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted so that you're in good shape with the loan before you sign off. You don't want to be in July and August when you're submitting documentation to get forgiveness, get into some kind of shouting match because of some definition of what was in payroll or not. Get that cleared away up front, and then you can get your loan application in. The money itself should be available within I say 2 to 3 weeks of when your application is submitted. Hopefully it's a lot sooner than that. Most importantly, the federal government wants you to keep your people employed. So whatever your employment level was approximately around when you signed your loan, there's a date range that's there. You need to get your employment level back to that level by June 30th. They want to keep people employed in your companies and not going to unemployment. However, if you don't make it back to that level, you'll still get forgiveness. You just won't get all the forgiveness because some of it is going to be reduced if you weren't able to restore what your headcount is. If you're an independent contractor, are you eligible for this stuff? You absolutely are. Beginning on April 10th, independent contractors, sole proprietors, Schedule C filers, you can all apply for this too. You use the same calculation for your payroll that you were using before, your employment income subject to self-employment tax, health insurance, your retirement costs. You can figure out how much is available for you under this program, and then you can borrow that money and then get forgiveness for it when the program ends after June 30th. So the economic injury disaster loans are a great place to go and get funding from your business. Low cost long-term loans. The Paycheck Protection Program under the CARES Act, also very, very important. So you need more information. We've got lots of resources on the Hartford Small Biz Ahead. So come to our website and you can look at that and get the information that you need. In addition to that, the Treasury has some documentation that we can put up some links to, or you can email me directly. My email is Gene, Gene, @marksgroup.net. You can find me there. I have been answering a lot of questions about this, and I'm happy to specifically answer your question and point you to the documentation that you need. So hope this information was helpful, and just remember this is a short-term thing. We are going to get through this. The pandemic will soon end at some point, and I realize there is going to be a recovery involved, but we will recover. And if you're running a business, it's your job not to mislead, but to be positive and to lead your people forward, because we will get back to where we were before. So I hope this information was helpful. Go and use it, get some money to fund your business, and for sure, I will see you on the other side of this pandemic. Take care and be well.